Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday. Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, right? Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. We're having confessions and conversations about your everyday life and finances. My name is Yamitra Jojo Waddell, and I am the only Live Past Crazy Specialist. So what a place to be than here with me. I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. Yeah, today is Wednesday. I've been getting my days of the week mixed up so bad. I want you to keep my fearless co-host, Miss Lynn, in your prayers, the #1 rebound coach. And yes, she said it, the #1 rebound coach. She will be joining us again shortly with her fearless financial thought of the day. But good morning, Charlene. How you doing? Did you have a good day yesterday? How did y'all like the topic on yesterday? I didn't hear from anybody. Let me know if you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure that you are sharing the video. And I'm so appreciative of everybody that joins the morning show because you guys are just so sweet and nice. I appreciate all of y'all. All right. So Lynn has started out doing fun facts about different states. And I thought about it this morning. So the fun fact for Arkansas is, why is there an S at the end of Arkansas? They said it's actually illegal to pronounce the S in Arkansas. It's been on the book since 1947, and it's a combination of French and Sioux pronunciations that lead to the silent S. I've never paid Arkansas any attention to even think about the S at the end, but hey, I guess they all have their strange habits or their strange sayings of their words. Thank you, Miss Charlene. All right, guys, I'm going to jump right in. It is 7:19 with the Fearless Quote of the Day. And it's by one of my favorite people. And you guys will probably hear me say that all the time. My favorite author, my favorite person. That's just because I'm a nerd and I love to read. And I do have a lot of favorites. Success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It's courage that counts. And that's by John Wooten. Success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It's the courage that counts. Sometimes we have to have a little courage to make things happen. Just a little bit. And if we fail at whatever it is that we're working on or we're doing, nobody's going to die. You can pick yourself up and keep right on going and move right on. All right, guys. So yesterday we talked about being hurt and how to handle hurt and what do we do when it's just overwhelming. So today I want to talk about healing. Healing is the key because there's a lot of things that happen in healing. But first and foremost, I talked about yesterday, if someone has hurt you, to get your power back, you got to have peace. But peace can only come once healing has taken place. That's the only time it's going to come. So a lot of times we think, oh, well, we're out of a situation. It's not bothering us anymore, or we move past it. But in all actuality, has healing taken place? Have we truly gotten over it? Because healing can, if things have not healed, we're going to continue to repeat the same habit. We want to continue to repeat the same problem. Sometimes we need healing from our past relationships, our past financial problems, our past friendships, and thoughts and processes that are holding us back that we haven't addressed or don't even know that are holding us back. Because if we don't, when you try to move forward into something, you're going to realize it is completely holding you back. I know for me, after I left my abuser, I didn't trust anybody. I didn't trust you. Words meant nothing to me because, he was so, and mental hurt is a lot worse. So I can deal with a black eye, and I know this may sound crazy, but the mental is just, you can replay that over and over without them ever being there. And I had to heal myself from the mental. I had to heal myself. Well, I didn't do it myself. It was a process of healing to go through, to get rid of some of those things of the self-talk, the self-doubt, some of the things that I was holding on to, how they treated me. And I was always holding it or judging it against the next person when it was not the next person's fault. And I didn't realize that until I went through the process of actually healing and saying, okay, this is a problem, JoJo. What are you going to do to address it? What are you going to do to fix it? Because you can't move forward. Because I can say I have peace. And I can move myself out of my situation. And I can no longer physically be there. But until healing has taken place and I've truly gotten over what has happened to me, or I've gotten over how the person has treated me, or how I treated myself, or my financial, or my, what's the word I'm looking for? Embarrassment. Once I've healed from the shame, because when you're going through stuff, especially, and this is confessions and conversations, when we're ashamed from our finances, where I was just ashamed that my finances was in such a shambles, or I was ashamed that, excuse me, now why I want to yawn this morning, where I was ashamed of that I went through an abusive relationship and my ego was hurt, and I was just really ashamed and hurt, and my ego had taken a little hit, and I had to get past all of that so that I could actually have the peace that I said that I wanted. Because until I did, it was holding me back. Because when we are shameful, just like a kid, when somebody, you correct your child, they hang their head in shame and then they scared to do it again. Same thing with adults, except ours is more hidden because we try to hide it or mask it with something else so that we don't look at it as that way. But healing, my friend, peace cannot come without healing. And that healing has got to take place because we've got to let go of all the extra things that are holding us back. And sometimes it is truly our mindset that is holding us back from getting us where we need to be. I know for me, that was it for me. My mindset was truly holding me back because I couldn't see what I could see it, but I couldn't comprehend it. And I was allowing what someone else had told me to hold me back. And so until I healed that part of me, even though I can say I had a little peace, but it wasn't that deep down. Oh, I have peace in my situation. It's not going to bother me anymore. So until I started healing those places in my life. I let go of the shame. I let go of the hurt. Yesterday we talked about that validation. I let go of that. It is truly a process. Yeah. And Charlene, please, and everybody listening, thank you guys for joining the morning show. The mental is, my friend, the hardest thing. When I tell you that book, The Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Myers, I don't know why I'm yawning. I feel great. I slept great. That book, The Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Myers, will change your life because the mental will hang on for years. I am 13 years out of my abusive relationship. And I can tell you to this second that there are times when I want to do something new, I want to start on a new path, and when I start to do it and I'm excited and I gung-ho, and I'm running full speed ahead, and then I may run into an obstacle or something may happen, and then I hear my abuser say, I told you you're stupid. Yeah, I told you you wasn't anything. I told you, and I can just hear his rigmarole. And to this day, I can recite it like clockwork. You're ugly, you're stupid, you're never going to be anything, you're never going to be anybody, nobody's going to love you. You better be glad I love you. Your children don't love you, you don't even love yourself, your family don't care about you. And I can hear that. And when I tell you, you've got to walk that mental out every single day. So now, if I'm starting something new, or if I mess up, and I told you, peace can't come until healing has taken place. Especially when I started over in my finances, and I was living past crazy, and soon as his thought would come into my mind, I'd have to replace it with something else. If you ever come to my house, and I may move the camera around in a minute, you can see quotes and stuff all over my walls, in my bathroom, they're everywhere, in my bedroom, because I had to replace his negative with my positive. And sometimes I need that daily reminder. Now it's a habit, so that if I hear his voice coming, I can instantly stop it and replace it with something else and say, and I self-talk, hey, JoJo, you know that's not real, so don't be stupid. Let's keep it moving, and I replace it with something else. But the mental part of the healing is essential. You got to know Jesus. I'll always say that because he helped me with that mental. But that book, Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Myers, when I tell you I read it line by line, cover to cover till I had to buy a new one. I just got a new one the other day. You've got to have it. But peace is only going to come when the healing has taken place. We've got to let go of the shame, the hurt, especially when it comes to looking at our family members, because our family may think, and again, remember I talked about a couple of weeks ago, letting go of the challenge or letting go of your self-concept of you and what people think of you, because we think people think all of these great things about us, especially our family and our friends and people at work. And when you start the healing process and when you start living on this journey of being fearless, there are things that you can no longer do, because here's what's happened. Remember we talked about that thorn, how you built your entire life around that thorn. You built your life around it, and you built your lies around it. So as you're going into this healing process, and now you're having to come to the truth, well, now the truth is having to come where you're having to tell people the truth about what was really going on, because the rest of it's not going to make sense. Not that you owe explanation to anybody, but it is very freeing when you can say, hey, you know what? That was not how it was, and this is truly how it is. And people will say, well, JoJo, why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want you in my business. Or, you know, sometimes you have to tell them, you know, I was just ashamed. Oh, Charlene, that is a whole entire class. How do you deal with the public? Whoo, girl, that, my friend, let me tell you something. It is a daily walk in the beginning, because if you're married or whatever relationship, I'm going to use myself, Charlene, because I don't know your situation. So my ex-husband was a pastor. He had been a pastor for over 30 years when he met me. When we got married, moved away. And so I already had the stigma that I married an older man because I wanted him for his money. So we got, you know, and he had an image to uphold. And I was now part of that image. And that was one of my greatest fears when I left him, was that, oh my God, what about his reputation? And what are people going to think about me? And it hindered me leaving and staying longer in the situation because I did not want the public shame. And when I left, please understand, when I left, that it was, I didn't leave the house. Not only was I depressed, but I was ashamed because people knew me. Oh, you're so-and-so's wife. How is he doing? And he was an extremely well-known pastor. And to have to deal, and I did not know how to deal with explaining to people, because again, I was fresh in it and I wanted that validation. I wanted to tell people he hurt me, and I wanted him to feel sorry, and I wanted them to feel sorry, and I wanted them to be on my side. And I needed all of that. So if I went out, I wanted the self-validation. Nobody was giving it to me. So, and then I was ashamed all at the same time. And I was trying not to be ashamed, but it was there. Because then people's like, oh, you got married, you got divorced, and you had to, I told you so, you didn't listen, you didn't want to do that. And there were so many emotions. It was overwhelming. And I was like, I'm just not going to deal with it. I'm going to stay in the house. And that added to my depression. And if it was not for Tashana, and you guys have seen her on the show, who took me, and like I said, she was a former church member. She took me in and I lived with her, and she really took care of me and the girls so I could mentally do it myself. But that public shame starts with you first. You got to heal past. You got to let go of the self-validation, let go of the hurt, let go of all of that. Then that's when you can start to be okay. So when somebody walks up, because now I am an absolute professional, when somebody walks up to me and says, hey, I thought you were married to so-and-so. What happened? Oh my, I have a way of doing it. Yes, ma'am. And it's not going to happen. I promise. That's not going to happen. And that's what it is. And and here's my thing. I didn't want to do that with my abuser. I did not want to expose him because then it was going to make me look bad. And I felt sorry for him. And it's a whole cycle. I felt sorry for him. There's no way around it, because here's the thing we have to let go of. And I promise you, you're going to have to, because that feeling will never go away. Because you're going to be always seeking that self-validation, and you're always going to have an empty place. And that part is never going to heal. And you may have a little peace, but you will not have total peace. You will not have peace. You will not have understanding. You will not have, and I can speak from total experience. So here's the thing. When I did what I did, if y'all read my book, you read my hot pink story, and I had to go to court, and you know, it's embarrassing to go to court, and I wanted everybody to know that, ooh, look, the second time around, look at what he did. And it wasn't working out that way. And when you do that, or when you want to expose them to that level, you're not gonna feel as good as you think you're gonna feel. I promise you. You may say, oh yeah, JoJo, yes I will. I'm gonna feel great once I tell everybody what he did, showed him what he did, and showed how he played me. I'm gonna feel better. No, you won't. You may feel better for 1.2 seconds, and then the process is going to start all over again. You're going to be right back at square one. This is a situation, and I ain't going to say I hate to say it, but this is the reality. This is a situation where you have to say, okay, I'm going to have to let Jesus handle this because I cannot. And then you have to take every piece of energy that you were going to use to focus on whoever hurt you, whatever they did, seeking that self-validation that we're not going to get. Take all of that energy, put it now on you, because we're taking our power back. Put it now all on you. Then the healing can start. Yeah. Thank you, my Bible scholar, Trenda. I appreciate you. That is a hard place to get. That last sentence, vengeance belongs to God. Hard place to get. I promise you. Hard place to get. Please understand, some of your friends and family will never get there. And they will remind you that they will never get there, that they're not there with you. Oh, I want to do this to him. I can't believe he did this. Let's go get him. And I'm always the voice of reason and say, no, we can't do that. Let's leave him alone. Let him mind his business. Long as he minds his business, I mind my business. I'm okay. So, but please, healing, once we start the healing process, then the peace is going to become more and more and more. Then the peace is way more abundant. And then it's every day, you don't even think about it. Then your thoughts process is totally replaced, because we're no longer holding on to trying to figure out, how am I going to get that self-validation? How am I going to get all this figured out? And tell them off. Because right now, when you're hurt for real, that you can't breathe, like we talked about yesterday, and it consumes you and takes over your life. When you are there, couple of things. You want that person to hurt. You want that self-validation, and you want everybody else to know. At whatever expense. Right. Take back your power. And with that, nothing, I promise you, makes somebody more angry who has hurt you than you not giving them the attention they think they deserve because of what they did. Does that make sense? Because my ex-husband hurt me, abused me, and I said, okay, you did all of that. I'm not paying that any attention. I'm focused all of this on me. So now none of the attention is on you nor the situation, but it's on my healing process. It makes them even angrier. That, my friend, is a good feeling. That is a great feeling, because now they mad. Because you're not mad. Because you're not angry and you're not holding on. You're not trying to get back. Because as long as you continue to do tit for tat, you're still right where you are. You may physically be gone, but you're not. That's it. You're just not physically gone. You're mentally, emotionally, you are attached there. You are still there because you are still participating. And this is what I learned. They can't participate if you don't participate. They can't do it all by themselves. So guess what? they'll leave you alone and go mind their business. And you'll be far more at peace than you think. And it's so, and I don't want to tell you any tales. It's a beautiful thing to live past crazy. It's an amazing thing. I've been living past crazy for a minute. It's a beautiful thing. However, the process to get there, remember I told you this is the place where battles are won. You got to be peaceful, right? You got to let go of how they hurt you. You got to start the healing process. That is your mental, emotional, and for me it was financial because he cleaned out my bank account. So I was homeless, had no money, had no food, no clothes, a 3-month-old preemie, and a 7-year-old. What was I supposed to do with that? I was at the rock bottom as you can get, living in a shelter. It doesn't get any lower than that. At least I wasn't on the street. But I was in a shelter, depending on other people. So to go from that and walk out the healing process and walk out the mental and emotional and the financial steps, it takes a little time. But please understand, the healing part of it brings the peace. And then once you have the peace, I don't have to seek the self-validation. I don't have to go and say, this person hurt me. Here's the thing. Healing scares us. If you think about it, healing scares you. You want to know why? Because once you start the healing process, right, and you let go of everything anybody's ever done to you, even in your finances, and in the healing process as far as your finances, if you've done it to yourself, healing and letting go of yourself, of the frustration and the shame and the guilt. So healing scares us because, number one, we are no longer using what happened to us as a crutch, an excuse to not do the things that we need to do. Right? So if I've started the healing process, I can no longer say this man did this to me because that's no longer my focus. My focus is me. If I'm starting a healing process, I can no longer say, oh, I messed up on my finances. I don't make enough money. I might as well stay where I am, because that's no longer true. I now take a responsibility of the actions from this point on. They are mine. So when we start the healing process, and I think sometimes that's why it's scary. And some people, have you ever met people who are more comfortable living in the muck, in the dysfunction of their everyday life? They are more comfortable doing that than they are changing. Because on Monday, remember I said change equals challenge, and they rather stay the same than go through the challenge of changing, because they don't want to start the healing process. Because ultimately, we are all somewhere, because right now, if you're on this fearless journey, you're here because somebody or someone or something or life may have hurt you or sidetracked you, and you're trying to get back on track, right? And so you got to heal past that. Mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, you got to heal past that. And healing scares us because now, once we say, okay, I want to heal, I want peace, I want this, we can't use this as a crutch anymore. I can't use this as an excuse of why I can't do it. Because now excuses are gone. Change equals a challenge, and you got to face that. And the challenge may be you. For me, the challenge was me. It was my mental, it was my emotional, and what had been ingrained in me for 2 years. And some people say, oh, you were only with your abuser 2 years, but please understand, 2 years of sitting in a room, sometimes 8 hours a day. So if it's the weekend, that's Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. That's 8 hours times 3 that I'm sitting there in a closed room with me and my abuser, and every day, all day long, I'm hearing, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're nothing, you're never going to be anything, you're not going to do anything, nobody loves you, you better be glad I love you, you're fat, you're ugly, your mama don't love you, your kids don't want you, you're a horrible mama, you're a hoe, you're a prostitute. Hearing that for 2 years straight, sometimes Friday, Saturday, no, all the time, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, sometime during the week. My time period during the week just happened to be shorter. So when I left, the challenge was, for my healing, was to let it go in my mind, because I'm physically not there, but it's still here. So then that was my challenge. And when I decided, you know what? I'm getting out of this. I'm living past this crazy today. I'm not going to do this. And so I can no longer hold it accountable for what I kept choosing to replay in my mind. That's why I love, when I tell you guys I love words, and I'm careful what I allow you to say to me, and I'm careful what I say to you, because words can kill you. That sticks and stones may break my bones, words will never hurt me. Words had me standing at the window ready to jump out, thinking, if I kill myself, who is it really going to hurt as bad as they say? Can I survive just a little bit, just to get enough attention to get my kids away? That's what words had me. So I'm very careful with what I say to people and what people say to me. So once we start that healing process, again, if you ever come to my house, you'll see words and quotes and books everywhere. Because once I chose to no longer listen to what my abuser said and the mental and start my healing process, I had to then replace it with something else. Because that's what a healing process is. We're covering up the old with something new, right? So I had to cover up my old with something new. Y'all know, don't let me pull out my trusty quotes. Somebody's waiting to hear my voice. They will not move until I move. Strengthen your voice by speaking your truth. I have quotes everywhere that I look at daily. They're on my phone. I have alerts that come up at 5 a.m. that tell me, hey, you are amazing. You are beautiful. You are more powerful than you could ever know. And they come throughout the day. And now it's like I don't even pay the alerts any attention because they've been set up for years. Now I know it. And so the immediate time that I have when I'm starting something different, because change is challenge. And so when you start something different, you're going to get challenges. As soon as I feel my challenge coming on and I hear that reminder coming, I can replace it with something else. So healing, my friend, is the key. We need healing from life experiences. Whatever your life experience may be. If it was your mama dying, your daddy dying, if it was for me, a lot of them, my favorite uncle who passed away, my father who passed away. You got to start healing past all of that and not allowing what happened to you hinder you from what you need to do. Healing may be scary. And it's only scary because now you're realizing you cannot use it as a crutch as to why you cannot continue on with your life. Now it's not an excuse anymore. You got to keep going. Period. Peace will come once healing begins. Healing has got to start first. Period. And once you start this process, you'll find things that you were holding on to that were holding you back that you never knew. And it's not like, ooh, let me sit down and think about what is holding me back. What do I need healing? Because when you start the journey, and like I said, on this journey, you're discovering yourself. You are reintroducing yourself to yourself. You're going to start realizing things. And then you're going to start realizing who you really are. And then the little things that you might have covered up along the way that hid who you are. Because when you're living in crazy, you lose you. You lose you when you live in crazy. I lost all of JoJo. Period. I lost all of her. Had no idea where she was at. And once I started the healing process, that's when I found me again. And along that journey, I found me. I discovered what I liked, what I didn't like. Remember, we're building new rules. We got people can only come to us a certain way. We got a new foundation. And all of this comes your healing. It's all one big picture. It's one big circle. And it will continue. It will never stop. And as long as it continues, my friend, you'll continue to have a wonderful life. I ain't going to say challenges and struggles and strife will not come your way, but the process will be easier because now you know how to work it. So today, guys, healing is the key. We need healing from those life experiences. Healing, once we do the healing, peace is far more greater and easier to achieve. Because we can say, I have peace now, but do you really? When you're by yourself, right before you go to sleep, when you have those crazy thoughts, is it peaceful? Are you still holding on to something? Is it still bringing you back and forth? Is it still a tug of war? So think about that. Healing has got to take place first for peace to come in. There's no other way around it. And then once that healing starts to take place, and healing can be scary for a lot of us because we don't want to let go of what has hurt us. We don't want to let go of what our mama and daddy may have did in our childhood. We don't want to let go of our financial problems that we had in the past because As soon as you realize you can't hold on to that anymore, you no longer have an excuse to continue to live like you living. Because at that point, and I like to deal in reality only, once you know what is holding you back, once you figured out this is what you need healing from, or you need to address, or you need to think about, you need to get over, and then you continue to stay where you are, I cannot handle complaining. And my friends know that. If you know the problem, but you continue to do this, then I can't handle complaining. And that's my pet peeve. And people say, Georgia, my patience is very thin when it comes to some things. Because when people tell me I can't get over it, or I can't get past it, I want you to put yourself, because for me, I'm not comparing myself, but at the same time, I want to say I've been through worse. And I understand your whole process. I understand your thought process. I empathize, I sympathize with you. However, until you can deal with it, I can't do it. It's too hard. It's too scared. It's too rough. Too scared was leaving an abuser with no money. The front wheel of my car would fall off if I went past 5 miles an hour. It only held $3 worth of gas. No car registration, no insurance. And that car took me an hour and 20 minutes with $3 worth of gas with a preemie and a 7-year-old to a shelter where I stayed till friends could take me in with no job. So for you to tell me you can't get past something, I need you to put it in context of, are you dead yet? Because if you're not dead yet, my friend, then you can get past whatever's holding on to you. You can start the healing process. If you don't start the healing process, if you don't get past what daddy did, what mama did, what they did or did not do, if you don't get past how somebody hurt you, and if you don't let go of that need of self-validation, you're using it for an excuse not to continue on. Once you admit it now, once you figure out, hey, this is my problem, this is what I need to let go of, and you continue to live in it, that's by choice only. And that means you're happy to be there. And by all means, please continue. But please understand, it's difficult for people to, I ain't going to say people, I want to say me. It's difficult for me to then comprehend complaining past that point. Because what reason do you have to complain if you know the problem, but you choose to stay in it and not do anything about it? Because I've been at that spot. I know my problem. I want out, but I don't want to do anything about it. Or I know my problem. I want out, but I'm too scared to get out because if I get out, it's going to be worse. I've been there. I understand that process too. And guess what it comes down to? I'll tell you this as I close out the morning show because it's 7:50. When I left my abuser. And y'all, please go read book 1 and book 2 if you have not, so you can get all the details of the story. When I left my abuser, we had been going to counseling. And he had the counselor that we were going to told me to my face, you are mentally retarded. You're not functionable enough to be taking care of your children. You're not functioning enough to take care of a family. You cannot even take care of yourself, ma'am. You are severely mentally ill. That's what she told me. He then tried to have me committed to a mental hospital. Thank God that did not happen. The day I left, I called her the next day after I left my abuser. And I said, I'm not mentally ill. I'm not all the words. She had put in the record that she felt like I was just a highly functional person and that I was so mentally ill. I was physically not able to take care of myself. That was her professional opinion. So when I left my abuser, I called her and I told her everything that was going on. I spilled my guts and I'm crying and I'm hysterical. And I told her everything that happened. And this is what she said to me. No lie. And Jasmine's on here. She's read the book. This is in the book. Is it 1 or 2, Jasmine? I think it's in 2. This is what she said to me. Sister, do you want to live or die? I said, what? I just told you what this man tried to do to me, blah, blah, blah. She was like, do you want to live or die? I said, what? She said, until you decide if you want to live or die, there's nothing I can do for you. And she hung up the phone. That was then. I've never spoken to the woman again. That's been 13 years ago. Never spoke to her again. It was very simple. Do you want to live or die? And when it becomes that simple, my friend, then your healing can take place. That's it. Once she said that to me, I got it. I want to live. And y'all know my quote, don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do, John Wooten. So I took that. Thank you, Jasmine. I think it is too. I took that and I focused on what I could do. I know what I can do right now. You may be in a crazy situation. Life may be entirely upside down. What you can do is focus on you. Once you start to focus on you, everything else is going to manifest itself to take care of you. I can guarantee you that. Because that quote says, focus on what you, don't worry about what you cannot do. Only worry about what you can do. Focus on what you can do. And that's what I did. When I started to focus on me and not anything else, only me, everything else took care of itself. Because eventually it's all, when you take care of you, things start happening. It will start to change. But you've got to start the healing process. And that, my friend, is where it is. Healing can be scary for some people. It's a scary thing because once you start on this healing process, that means you absolutely cannot hold this thing responsible for the reason why you're not doing what you need to do or why you're not addressing it. Like I said, I've been there where I'm too scared to move out. I'm too scared to stay. I don't know whether to come or go. I don't know if I need to leave, if I need to stay. I've been through all of that. I've been through if I leave, he's going to find and kill me. If I stay, he's going to kill me and my kids. I've been at that deciding point. And then one of those decisions was I'll kill myself and I ain't got to worry about it. And then I realized I have 2 kids. I cannot do that. Good morning, Mama. How you doing? I couldn't do that. So to start the healing process, you can't have peace without the healing. They go hand in hand. And once we realize what is holding us back, remember, whatever mama, daddy, sister, cousin, brother, abuser, husband, boyfriend, life, finances, whatever happened to you, once you let go of the shame, the self-ego, the concept of what we think people think about us, once we let go of that, then we can start the healing process. So now that we know what's holding us back, you can't use it as an excuse why you can't go forward anymore. If you do, please understand complaining is no longer an option because you are voluntarily staying in that situation. Please understand. For me, that's what that means. So as you start the healing process today, and if you missed yesterday's show, we talked about hurt. What do you do? How to get past hurt when you just can't even breathe past any of it. When somebody's hurting you and that self-validation and wanting them to feel sorry. Nobody can apologize enough to make you feel better for the hurt that they've done to you. It's just not going to happen. It's not. But healing is the key. Okay? You've got to heal from those life experiences. And once you start that, then peace is going to come. And then it's going to come more quickly. And it's going to be great. In the beginning, you think you have peace because you're out of the situation. You're like, oh, I have peace. I'm not in the situation. Well, now you got the mental, the emotional, and everything else that comes along with it. And once you work through that process, then the peace is for real. So the starting point is realizing you need healing past that thing so that peace can come in. And please, Charlene touched on something earlier, that how to get past that public shame is an absolute everyday step-by-step thing. And you have to decide, do you want, and here's your deciding factor. Getting past this public shame, because people will start to ask you questions. Good morning, Matt, Melissa. How you guys doing? Getting past that public shame, it is up to you what you decide to share. Now, if you are sharing so that they can feel sorry for you and feel bad towards the other person, please don't share it. I share for educational purposes only. I share because I want you guys to not live in the crazy that I lived in. I don't want you to live in that. I share because I understand the steps that you need to go through to get where you need to be. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be easy. There are going to be some days and you just going to cry. And guess what? It's okay. It's going to be okay. Because living past crazy, my friend, is far better than you could ever imagine. If you think you feel good now and you're fresh out of your crazy in your finances, in your life, if you're fresh out of it and you feel kind of good, you got a little stress off your shoulders, when you start the healing process and it becomes all the way real, Let me tell you how good you're going to sleep, how good you're going to feel. So then when somebody says, hey, what happened to you? You can now choose your words wisely about how you're going to explain it and what you're going to say. And some people, please have your discernment. Some people don't deserve to know your story. Some people don't deserve to know the answer. And as a first lady, I learned the nice way how to reflect conversations away and reframe them. Or say, oh, sweetie, well, how are you doing? And I'm never going to answer your question. I am queen of that. So if you ask me a question and I don't want to answer, please understand how fast that conversation is going to change. And I'm going to do it in the nicest, southern, most North Carolina, Far City, Union Mills, Rutherford County way that I can do it. Because some people don't deserve to know, because it's not going to benefit them at all to know my business. It's just not. They're not going to learn from it. They're not going to take from it. It's just not, it's not their place to know. So I'm not going to share. And then some people say, well, how can you say that when you've written a whole book about your life? I've written 3 books about my life. That is correct. And I've shared what I want you to know. What I don't want you to know, you don't know. And that's the beautiful thing about your life. Public shame, my friend, it only comes when we allow it to come. Because what happened is not your fault. It's just life. Sometimes life happens and it's not your fault, and that's okay, because it happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of everybody. So we can live past the crazy. All right, guys, that's it for the Fearless Morning Show. Please keep my co-host, Miss Lynn, in your prayers. Hopefully she'll be back with us soon. Remember, today's quote is, success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It's courage that counts. That's by my man, John Wooten. Y'all know I love him. He is one of my favorite people. Yesterday we talked about her. And remember to please share the videos. If your friends and family do not have Facebook, we do have a YouTube channel. We are 100 videos strong. Yay! Can y'all believe that? We have 100 videos on YouTube. We've done 100 morning shows. Oh my Lord, I cannot believe that. But please make sure that you share that with someone who may need it. So that they can binge watch it. I'm getting ready to share the link with you now. And then, of course, we do have the Be Fearless jewelry. So if you would like any of the bracelets or the earrings or the necklace sets, we do have those as well as little tote bags. We have a little bit of everything, as well as my book 1, 2. And if you would like to read book 1 and 2, they're available on Amazon as well. So you can check those out. Lynn and I will be coming to the Atlanta area June. I don't have the date in front of me. I know it's in June. So if you guys want to come out and take part of our workshop, please, we will be posting a link to that sometime this week so that you can register for that, so you can get some in-depth. And I have some great exercises for y'all to do. Y'all gonna love it. I'm so excited. I wish I could tell y'all about them now, but it is time to go. It is 8 o'clock and I've held you far too long. All right, guys, have a wonderful Wednesday. Be peaceful today. Be peaceful. Remember, you're building life legacies, okay? You can heal this. You can have that peace that you want, and you can get past that hurt. And today, it begins today. Take your power back today. Strengthen your voice by speaking your truth. Strengthen your voice by speaking your truth. Make that happen today. You guys be peaceful. I appreciate you. I love everybody that joined the morning show. Thank you guys so much for being on here, being my friends and family. I love all of you. I hope some of this is helping somebody along the way. Please let me know. And then if you have any suggestions or comments or any questions for me, because a lot of people have questions that they may not want to ask in public, you can always send me a message. And there's not a question I've not answered or heard before about being a domestic violence survivor and what that life is like and how to live past crazy. So my name is Yamitra Jojo Waddell. I am the only Live Past Crazy specialist, so what better place to be than here with me? And in the absence of my fearless co-host, Miss Lynn Demons, who is the #1 rebound coach. Yes, she said it, America's #1 rebound coach. She'll be back with us shortly, so please keep her in your prayers. You guys have a great day and be peaceful.